So this afternoon we are going to start dyeing the traps that my husband and the kids use for trapping season. Now, if you see a video on my channel or a short, when the kids and me, we were collecting our black walnuts. So we have a lot of walnut trees, black walnut trees in our yard and in our woods. We have a lot of them. They're great trees. We love them. We use them for a lot of things, and this is one of the things we use them for dyeing traps. So let me show you how that works. So first of all, these are some of the walnuts we collected, and then they got water on them, so they soaked in water for a while. So we're not going to make the walnuts go in this bucket, but I'm going to show you what the part that we use for dyeing. So I'm just going to go like this. See how black that water is? Just from soaking, just from having the walnuts soaked. So you can imagine how that would be a good dye for anything that you needed to dye black, right? So this is a really, uh-oh, I got one walnut in there, that's okay. Oh, two walnuts. Oh look, they float, we can get them out. So this is a very good thing to do if you need to dye something black. Get some black walnuts. And now we're going to put this on top of the fire that we built in our fire pit. Oh my gosh, this is a little heavy, but I did it. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to let it get hot, and then I will show you when we go get the traps. 1 minute. Alright, so now we are back at the fire and the traps with the dye that we just got for the black walnuts soaking in water. And so first we're going to do these traps. They're for coyote, bobcat, or fox. Now, first of all, what you want, if you just get traps and they're new, you'll want to set them outside for a couple days to get rusty because they can't be shiny. They won't hold the dye well if they're shiny new traps. So it's okay, you want to leave them outside for a while until they get rusty. Now, that being said, but the reason you dye them is to protect them from being rusty. It's kind of funny that way, but you protect them from being rusty when they're sitting outside in the woods waiting for this animal. Also, they just help disguise the trap so the animal does not see it when it's dyed, right? Instead of being a piece of metal, the animal's going to be like, obviously not going to walk by that, right? So we're going to set them in here. Now, we're going to set them in there, and we're going to get it to cover up. I'm going to put this one on this side. Now, almost sold. Now that one we may have to turn over. I don't know if we have enough dye in there. But anyways, now you want to leave them in here for probably about 5 to 10 minutes. This water really needs to get hotter, so we're going to probably leave them in there a little longer than 10 minutes because you want it to really be boiling. Because it needs to stay in there long enough to where not only is the water temperature but also the trap itself has to get to that hot temperature in order to hold the dye. Otherwise the dye will just wash off. So you must leave it in there. If your water was already boiling, then about 5 to 10 minutes. If your water's not boiling, this probably will be 15 to 20 minutes. So that's what we need to do. So. Also, these kind of traps right here, if it's a space already, it's good. If not, you just have to put a little stick in there. That way it gets the whole part of the trap and doesn't leave one part undyed. That's why you want all of this to be dyed all the way up until this little tip. Because again, you're trying to keep it disguised from the animal. And like I said, we'll probably have to flip these a couple times because the dye is not deep enough. But that's okay. This one doesn't have a long thing on it. I'll just stand it up like that. There we go. I stood it up. Now you can come in here and see what I'm talking about. See, so some of these we'll have to flip over because this dye is not taller. We should have got a little bit more dye, but that's okay. We can just flip it. So, okay, so that's why and how. Now our other set of traps, let me show you really quick, are for beaver traps. So these are beaver traps. 330 conibear beaver traps. They're bigger, of course, as you can tell. So we will not be able to dye them in the same time as those little ones. And actually only one of these can go in our pot at a time. So it would take a while to do it, but that's okay. most of our other traps have already been dyed, so that's okay. So they're good to go. These are just the ones that needed to be dyed this year. Now also check back to my channel because my next video, after you dye traps, they need to be waxed. And I will show you how we wax our traps here on our farm for trapping season. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you like it, and remember all of the wonderful things that God blesses us with each and every day. Bye!